The meeting room was full of aliens. They came from 17 different planets. Some had scales. Some had feathers. Some had too many eyes. They all sat around a big metal table and watched. The two humans standing in the middle of the room. Lieutenant Kevin Park was a soldier. He was 32 years old. He had short black hair and a calm face that never showed fear. He had been in the military for 12 years. He had fought in wars that most people would never know about. He had survived things that would break normal men. Next to him stood Dr. Rachel Kim. She was a scientist who studied alien life. She was smart. Very smart. She had 3 degrees from the best schools on Earth, but she had never been in real danger before. She had spent her whole life in safe places with good food and clean water. Today, both of them would go to a planet called Kasara 7. It was a test. If they survived for 72 hours, Earth would become a full member of the Galactic Council. If they failed, humanity would have to wait another 100 years to try again. Ambassador Threll was in charge of the meeting. He was tall and thin with hard skin like a bug. He had 4 arms and big black eyes. When he spoke, a small machine turned his clicks and buzzes into words. The survival kit has 57 items, Thrall said. He pointed at a large box on the table. Water pills, food packs, medicine, tools, shelter materials, heat blankets, signal devices, everything you need to survive. A helper alien opened the box and poured everything onto the table. It was a lot of stuff. It weighed about 60 pounds. Kevin walked to the table. He looked at all the items for a long moment. Then he picked up just one thing, a knife. It was 7 inches long with a simple blade and an old leather handle. The leather was worn from years of use. He put the knife in his belt and stepped back. This should suffice, he said. The room went silent. Every alien stared at him. Some looked confused. Some looked worried. Some looked like they thought he was crazy. Ambassador Threll made a sound that the machine said was a laugh. But it was not a happy laugh. It was a scared laugh. Human Park, Thrall said slowly. Do you understand what Kasara 7 is? It is a Category 9 death world. That is the most dangerous kind of planet. The rain there is like acid. It will burn your skin. The plants eat meat. The animals are killers. The temperature changes from very cold to very hot in just a few hours. Kevin nodded. Sounds like camping. Dr. Kim grabbed his arm. Her face was pale. Lieutenant, maybe we should take more supplies. This seems very risky. Kevin looked at her with steady eyes. Doc, all that stuff weighs 60 pounds. On a death world, you need to move fast and stay quiet. You cannot do that if you are carrying a heavy bag. But how will we eat? How will we find water? How will we stay warm? I will make what we need. He touched the knife on his belt. With this, the aliens started talking to each other in their own languages. The machines translated some of it. Words like foolish and death wish and typical human floated through the air. One alien stood up. He was from a warrior race called the Veldrons. They were known for being tough and strong. They had thick blue skin and muscles everywhere. I led a team to Kasara 7 5 years ago, the Veldron said. His voice was deep and hard. We had the best weapons, the best armor, the best training. Out of 12 soldiers, only 3 came back alive. And you think you can survive with just a knife? Kevin met his eyes without fear. Your soldiers trusted their gear. When the gear failed, they did not know what to do. I trust myself. I never fail. The Veldron stared at him for a long moment. Then he sat down and said nothing more. Commander Yuri Volkov walked into the room. He was the human in charge of the mission. He was old and tough with gray hair and a face full of lines. He had been a soldier for 40 years. He had seen everything. "The dropship leaves in 1 hour," Volkov said. "Any last questions?" Dr. Kim raised her hand. "What happens if we call for help?" "Then you fail the test," Volkov said. "And Earth waits another 100 years. What if we are about to die? Then you die as heroes. Or you survive as legends. There is no middle ground." Kevin pulled out his knife and checked the edge with his thumb. A thin line of blood appeared. He did not react to the small cut at all. "The blade is sharp," he said. "I am ready." Dr. Kim looked at him like he was insane. Maybe he was. But he was also the only thing standing between her and death on an alien world. "I hope you know what you are doing," she said quietly. "I always know what I am doing, Doc. That is why I am still alive." They walked to the dropship together. The aliens watched them go. Some shook their heads. Some made sounds of disbelief. They all thought they were watching two humans walk to their death. The dropship was small and fast. It would take them down to the planet's surface and leave them there. For 72 hours, they would be alone. No help, no rescue, no second chances. Kevin sat in his seat and closed his eyes. He was not sleeping. He was thinking, planning, preparing his mind for what was coming. Dr. Kim sat across from him, holding her stomach. She looked like she might throw up. "Have you ever been to a death world before?" she asked. Kevin opened one eye. "Earth is a death world, Doc. We just forgot. We built cities and walls and convinced ourselves we were safe. But safety is a lie. The universe wants to kill us. It has always wanted to kill us. The only question is whether we let it." The engines roared to life. The ship began to shake. "Humans survived ice ages," Kevin continued. "We survived plagues that killed millions. We survived wars and famines and disasters. We did not survive because we had the best tools or the strongest bodies. We survived because we refused to die." The ship shot forward into space. 72 hours, Doc. That is all we need. 72 hours of refusing to die. Dr. Kim gripped her seat as the ship headed toward the planet that had killed so many before them. For the first time in her life, she understood what it meant to be human. It meant facing death and choosing to live anyway. First night, the dropship hit the ground hard. The door opened and hot air rushed inside. It smelled like metal and rot. The sky was orange and red like a sunset that never ended. Strange plants covered the ground. They were purple and black, and they moved even when there was no wind. Kevin jumped out first. His boots hit the dirt, and he immediately started looking around. His eyes moved fast, checking everything. The trees, the rocks, the shadows. He was looking for danger. Dr. Kim climbed out slowly. Her legs were shaking. The air was thick and hard to breathe. Sweat was already running down her face. "Welcome to Kazar 7, Kevin said. "Try not to touch anything until I tell you it is safe." Behind them, the dropship closed its doors and flew away. The sound of its engines faded until there was only silence. They were alone now, completely alone. "We need shelter," Kevin said. "The acid rain will start soon. I can smell it in the air." "How can you smell rain?" "The same way I can smell a storm on Earth. The air changes. It gets heavy, wet." He pointed at the sky. "Those clouds are getting darker. We have maybe 2 hours." He started walking. Dr. Kim followed him because she had no other choice. They moved through the alien forest. The plants reached for them with long, thin arms. Kevin cut them away with his knife. Some of the plants screamed when he cut them. It was a horrible sound. Dr. Kim covered her ears. "Carnivorous flora," Kevin said calmly. "They want to eat us. Do not let them grab you." "This is insane." How are we supposed to survive here? The same way anything survives anywhere. We watch, we learn, we adapt. He stopped in front of a large rock formation. There was an opening at the bottom like a small cave. Kevin got down on his knees and looked inside. He picked up a rock and threw it in. Nothing came out. No sound. No movement. This will work, he said. Help me gather those plants over there. The ones with the thick, waxy leaves. Dr. Kim looked at the plants he was pointing at. They had big, flat leaves covered in something shiny. She did not want to touch them. Are they safe? They have wax on their leaves to protect against the acid rain. That means we can use them for the same thing. It made sense when he explained it. Dr. Kim started picking leaves while Kevin worked on the shelter. He cut branches and arranged them over the cave opening. He layered the waxy leaves on top until they made a thick roof. He found sticky sap from another plant and used it like glue dot in less than an hour. He had built a shelter that looked like it could survive a bomb. The first drops of rain started falling. They hit the ground and made a hissing sound. Steam rose from where they landed. Dr. Kim could see the dirt melting like ice cream on a hot day. Inside, Kevin said. Now, they crawled into the shelter. It was small but dry. Kevin had even made a raised floor from flat stones so they would not have to sit on the cold ground. Outside, the rain fell harder. It sounded like bacon frying. The smell of burning filled the air. But inside the shelter, they were safe. Not a single drop got through. How did you know? Dr. Kim asked. About the plants and the rocks and the cave. You have never been to this planet before. Kevin sat with his back against the rock wall. His knife was in his hand. He was always holding that knife. Life follows patterns, he said. It does not matter if you are on Earth or Kazara 7 or anywhere else. Living things want to survive. They evolve to survive. If a plant has waxy leaves, it is because something in the environment requires waxy leaves. I just had to figure out what. That is very logical. Survival is logical. Panic is not. That is why panic gets you killed. A sound came from outside. Something was moving in the rain. Something big. It made a low growling noise that shook the air. Dr. Kim grabbed Kevin's arm. What is that? Kevin listened carefully. His face showed nothing. No fear, no worry. Just focus. Predator, he said. Big one. Probably hunting for shelter, too. The rain hurts it just like it would hurt us. Will it find us? Maybe. But we are hidden. We are quiet. We smell like the plants I used to build this shelter. As long as we stay still, it will probably pass by. They sat in silence. The creature moved closer. Dr. Kim could hear its heavy footsteps. Its breathing. It was right outside their shelter. She held her breath and closed her eyes. Long minutes passed. Then the footsteps moved away. The creature found somewhere else to hide from the rain. Dr. Kim let out her breath. Her whole body was shaking. You need to sleep, Kevin said. Tomorrow will be harder. How can I sleep after that? You close your eyes and you rest. Your body needs energy. If you do not sleep, you will make mistakes. Mistakes get you killed. What about you? I will keep watch. All night? Kevin nodded. I have gone longer without sleep. Much longer. I will be fine. Dr. Kim did not think she could sleep. But her body was exhausted. The fear and the heat and the stress had drained her. She lay down on the stone floor and closed her eyes. Just for a moment, she told herself. She woke up 7 hours later. The rain had stopped. Light was coming through the cracks in the shelter. And Kevin was still sitting in the same position, knife in hand, eyes watching the entrance. He had not slept at all. Good morning, Doc, he said. His voice was calm and steady like nothing had happened. Time to find some food. Dr. Kim sat up slowly. Her body ached. Her mouth was dry. She was hungrier than she had ever been in her life. We do not have any food. Kevin smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. Not yet. But this planet is full of things that want to eat us. That means there are things here that are good to eat. We just have to find them first. He stood up and stretched. His movements were smooth despite having no sleep. Ready to go hunting, Doc? Dr. Kim looked at him. This man who had brought only a knife to a death world. This man who built shelters and predicted rain and stayed awake all night to keep her safe. She did not understand him, but she was starting to trust him. Ready, she said. They crawled out of the shelter into the alien morning. The sun was bright and harsh. The air was already getting hot. Somewhere in the distance, something screamed. Day 2 had begun. The hunt, the standard survival kit, had 64,000 calories of food paste. It was enough to keep 2 people alive for a week. Kevin had left all of it on the table back at the station. Now they had nothing to eat, and Dr. Kim's stomach was making angry sounds. You did this on purpose, she said, as they walked through the alien forest. You wanted to prove something. Kevin was crouching near the ground, looking at marks in the dirt. Footprints. Something had walked here recently. Something heavy with 3 toes on each foot. Maybe, he said without looking up. Or maybe I wanted to remind them what humans really are. And what are we? He stood up and started following the tracks. His movements were slow and careful. He made almost no sound when he walked. Dr. Kim tried to copy him, but her feet kept snapping twigs and kicking stones. We are persistence predators, Kevin said quietly. Do you know what that means? Hunters that chase prey until it gets tired? Exactly. Most predators are fast. They run and catch their food quickly. If they miss, they give up. But humans are different. We are not the fastest animals. We are not the strongest. We do not have claws or fangs or poison. But we have something better. He paused and looked back at her. His dark eyes were serious. We do not stop, ever. Our ancestors would pick an animal and follow it for hours. Days sometimes. The animal would run and hide and run again. But the human would keep coming, walking, always walking, until the animal was so tired it could not run anymore. Dr. Kim thought about this. It was frightening in a way. The image of something that just kept coming no matter what you did. That sounds terrifying, she said. It is. Humans are terrifying. We just forgot because we built comfortable lives. But deep inside, we are still those hunters. We still have that ability to keep going when everything else would quit. The tracks led them to a small clearing. In the middle was a creature that looked like a mix between a pig and a lizard. It had rough gray skin and small tusks. It was digging in the ground with its snout, looking for food. Kevin held up his hand. Stop. They stood completely still. The creature had not seen them yet. It kept digging, making happy grunting sounds. That is our food, Kevin whispered. But we cannot just run at it. It will escape. We need to be smart. He looked around the clearing. His eyes moved from tree to tree, rock to rock. He was thinking, planning. Dr. Kim could almost see the ideas forming in his head. Stay here, he said. Do not move. Do not make sound. I will go around and push it toward you. When it runs past, throw rocks at it. Make noise. Scare it. Push it back toward me. What are you going to do? End the hunt. He disappeared into the trees without making a sound. Dr. Kim waited. Her heart was beating fast. She picked up some rocks and held them tight. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Then she heard Kevin shout from the other side of the clearing. The creature jumped up in fear. It turned and ran straight toward Dr. Kim. She threw her rocks and screamed as loud as she could. The animal changed direction, confused and scared. Kevin appeared from the trees. He was running now, fast and silent like a ghost. The creature tried to escape, but Kevin was already there. He moved with perfect control. The knife flashed once in the sunlight. The creature fell. It was over in seconds. Dr. Kim walked to where Kevin stood over the dead animal. She expected to feel sick. Instead, she felt something strange. Relief. Pride. They had done it. They had hunted and killed food on an alien death world, using nothing but a knife and teamwork. "Good job with the rocks," Kevin said. He was already starting to cut the animal open. His hands were red with blood, but his face was calm. "Is that safe to eat?" "We will find out. The basic rule is to cook everything completely. Heat kills most bad things. And we look for signs of poison. Bright colors. Bad smells. Anything that seems wrong." He worked quickly, cutting meat from bone. He saved the useful parts and left the rest for other animals to eat. Nothing was wasted. "Where did you learn all this?" Dr. Kim asked. "My grandfather taught me when I was young." He learned from his father, and so on back for generations. Kevin wiped his knife on the grass. Every culture on Earth had these skills once. Hunting, building, surviving. The knowledge is in our blood. Most people just never need to use it. They made a small fire using dry wood and a spark from Kevin's knife striking a rock. The meat cooked slowly over the flames. The smell made Dr. Kim's mouth water. "The aliens think we are primitive," she said, watching the meat cook. "Because we are new to space. Because our ships are slow and our weapons are basic." Kevin nodded. "Let them think that. Why? Because they do not understand what makes humans dangerous. It is not our technology. Technology breaks. Technology fails. What makes us dangerous is this." He tapped his head. "And this." He tapped his chest. "We think. We feel. We refuse to give up. Every species in the Galactic Council got there through machines and science. They evolved past the need to fight for survival." He turned the meat over the fire. "We have not. We still remember what it means to be hungry, to be cold, to be hunted. That memory makes us stronger than any weapon." The meat was ready. They ate with their hands, tearing into the hot food like animals. It was not pretty. It was not polite. But it was survival. For the first time since landing, Dr. Kim felt hope. They might actually make it. This crazy soldier with his old knife might actually keep them alive. 36 hours left, Kevin said, looking at the sky. The sun was starting to go down. Another night was coming. "We should move back to the shelter soon. What about tomorrow?" "Tomorrow we keep surviving. That is all we can do. 1 hour at a time. One problem at a time." He stood up and kicked dirt on the fire. The flames died. "Come on, Doc. We have a long night ahead." They walked back through the alien forest as darkness fell. Somewhere behind them, other creatures were finding the remains of their kill. The sound of eating and fighting drifted through the trees. Kevin did not look back. He just kept walking forward, because that is what humans do. They keep walking forward until there is nowhere left to go. The Predator 47. Hours had passed as they landed on Kazara 7. Only 25 hours remained until rescue would come. Dr. Kim was starting to believe they would make it. That was when the Kesran stalker found them. They were resting near a stream when Kevin suddenly went still. His whole body froze like a statue. His eyes got wide and his hand moved slowly to his knife. "Do not move," he whispered. "Do not speak. Do not even breathe loudly." Dr. Kim felt her blood turn cold. She had never seen Kevin scared before. He was not exactly scared now, but he was alert in a way that told her something very bad was happening. What is it? She breathed. The thing they warned us about. The apex predator. The one that kills everything. The Galactic Council had told them about this creature during the briefing. The Kesseran Stalker. It had 6 legs and a body covered in hard plates like armor. Its teeth could bite through metal. It hunted using heat vision and sound. In the history of the survival trials, it had killed more people than everything else combined. A Veldran warrior in full battle, armor with the best weapons, had died fighting one. His team of 12 soldiers had been reduced to 3. Kevin had only a knife. They heard it before they saw it. A clicking sound like bones hitting together. Then heavy footsteps, slow, patient. It was not in a hurry. It knew its prey could not escape. The creature stepped out of the trees. It was massive. Bigger than any animal Dr. Kim had ever seen. Its body was dark green, with plates of black armor covering its back and head. 6 legs ended in claws that dug into the ground. Its face had no eyes, but was covered in small holes that seemed to sense the air. When it opened its mouth, there were 3 rows of teeth going back into endless darkness. It turned toward them. It had found them. Kevin stood up slowly. He pushed Dr. Kim behind him. "When I tell you to run," he said quietly, "you run to that ridge over there. Head north. Do not stop until you reach the extraction point. Understand? What are you going to do?" "I am going to hunt the hunter." "That is suicide. You cannot kill that thing with a knife." Kevin did not look at her. His eyes were fixed on the creature. It was moving closer now, testing them, playing with them. "A Veldran shock trooper died fighting this thing," Dr. Kim said desperately. "He had a plasma rifle. He had armor. He had training. Did he have a knife? He had weapons worth more than a house." Kevin smiled. It was a strange smile. Calm, almost peaceful. That was his problem. A gun is just a tool. You point it and you shoot. There is no connection, no feeling, no adaptation. But a knife, he drew the blade from his belt. The metal caught the light. A knife is an extension of your hand, your arm, your will. My grandfather carried this knife through Korea. My father carried it through Vietnam. I carried it through hell. The creature screamed. It was a horrible sound that shook the air and made Dr. Kim's ears ring. Then it charged. "Run!" Kevin shouted. Dr. Kim ran. She did not look back. Her legs pumped and her lungs burned, and she ran faster than she had ever run in her life. Behind her, she heard sounds of fighting, screaming, both human and monster. She reached the ridge and stopped. She could not help it. She had to look back. What she saw would stay with her forever. Kevin was not running from the creature. He was running toward it. He ducked under its claws and rolled around its legs. The knife flashed again and again, finding gaps in the armor plates. Blood sprayed through the air. Some of it was red. Some of it was black. The creature was fast. But Kevin was faster. It was strong. But Kevin was smarter. Every time it attacked, he was somewhere else. Every time it turned, he was already behind it. He was not trying to overpower the monster. He was making it tired, making it angry, making it make mistakes. The fight lasted almost 30 minutes. Dr. Kim watched from the ridge, unable to move. She saw Kevin get hit twice. Once across the chest, once on the leg. He kept fighting. Blood ran down his body, but he did not stop. He could not stop. The creature started to slow. Its attacks became sloppy. Its movements became weak. It had never faced prey that fought back like this. It had never faced prey that refused to die. Kevin saw his moment. He jumped onto the creature's back and grabbed one of its armor plates. It tried to shake him off, but he held on with one hand while the other drove the knife deep into a gap near its neck. The blade went in all the way to the handle. The creature screamed one last time. Then it fell. Kevin rolled off its body and lay on the ground. He was breathing hard. His clothes were torn and bloody. But he was alive. Dr. Kim ran back to him. She fell to her knees beside him. "Kevin, are you okay?" He laughed. It was a weak laugh, but it was real. "I've had worse training days. That was impossible. You killed it. You killed the stalker with a knife." Kevin sat up slowly. He looked at the dead creature beside him. It was still twitching. "The knife did not kill it," he said. "The knife just helped. What killed it was this." He tapped his head. "And this." He tapped his chest. "Brain and heart. Thinking and feeling. That is what makes humans dangerous." He stood up with difficulty. His leg was hurt badly. Blood was dripping from dozens of cuts. "We need to keep moving," he said. "The smell of blood will attract other predators. Can you help me walk?" Dr. Kim put his arm over her shoulder. Together they started moving toward the extraction point. "How did you know you could beat it?" she asked. "I did not know. I just knew I could not let it kill you. So I did not let it. That is not logic. That is not strategy." Kevin smiled through his pain. "No, that is being human. We do not quit. We do not surrender. We do not accept death when someone we care about is in danger." They walked slowly through the alien forest. Behind them, the body of the apex predator lay still in the dirt. The monster that had killed hundreds of aliens from dozens of species. Killed by a human with nothing but a knife and the refusal to lose. The sun was setting again. Their last night on Kasara 7 was beginning. In just a few more hours, rescue would come. All they had to do was survive until then. Kevin leaned on Dr. Kim and kept walking. Because humans never stop walking. Not until the job is done. What humans are, the extraction ship landed exactly 72 hours after the trial began. The door opened, and Commander Volkov stepped out with a team of medics behind him. They were expecting to find bodies. Or maybe nothing at all. Most species did not survive Kasara 7. What they found was Dr. Rachel Kim sitting on a rock at the extraction point. Next to her sat Lieutenant Kevin Park. He was covered in blood and bandages made from torn clothing and plant fibers. In his lap was his knife. Behind them, stretched across a wooden frame he had built, was the skin of a Kesseran stalker. Commander Volkov stopped walking. His mouth fell open. "Lieutenant Park," he said slowly. "Is that what I think it is?" Kevin looked up. His face was tired. His body was broken. But his eyes were still sharp and alive. "Yes, sir. The creature attacked us about 25 hours ago. It seemed rude to let it win." The medics rushed forward and started treating Kevin's wounds. There were many wounds. Deep cuts on his chest. A bad gash on his leg. Bruises everywhere. He had lost a lot of blood. By all logic, he should have been dead. But he was not dead. He was sitting upright and making jokes. Dr. Kim stood up as Volkov approached her. "Commander, I want to report that Lieutenant Park performed beyond any expectation. He built our shelters. He found our food. He protected me from everything this planet threw at us. He did it all with just that knife." Volkov looked at the knife in Kevin's hands. It was an old knife. Simple. Nothing special about it except the history it carried. "The Council is watching," Volkov said. "They have cameras everywhere. They saw everything." "Good," Kevin said. "Then they know. Know what? What humans really are." The trip back to the station took 2 hours. Kevin slept for most of it. His body finally gave in to exhaustion now that the mission was over. Dr. Kim sat beside him and watched him sleep. This man who had saved her life over and over. This man who had killed a monster with nothing but willpower and steel. When they arrived at the station, the meeting room was full again. The same 17 species that had watched them leave were waiting to see if they returned. Ambassador Thrall stood at the front, his big black eyes blinking rapidly. Kevin walked in on his own power. He refused the wheelchair the medics offered. He was limping badly, and his bandages needed changing, but he walked. Dr. Kim walked beside him. The room was completely silent. Lieutenant Kevin Park, Ambassador Thrall said. His voice translator struggled with the emotion in his clicking sounds. We watched your trial. All of it. We have questions. Ask them. How did you know which plants were safe to use? I looked for patterns. Things that survive in harsh environments develop protections. I found those protections and used them. How did you stay awake for so long? Training and stubbornness. Humans can push our bodies far beyond what seems possible if we have a reason. And the stalker. How did you kill it? Kevin was quiet for a moment. He looked around the room at all the alien faces watching him. Faces full of confusion. Faces full of fear. Faces that were starting to understand something they had never understood before. I did not try to beat it, he said. I do not beat anything. I survive it. There is a difference. That creature was bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. But it had never faced something that would not stop fighting. It did not know how to handle prey that fought back. He held up his knife. The blade was scratched and stained, but still sharp. Humans do not have claws. We do not have armor. We do not have poison or speed or size. But we have 10,000 years of fighting for survival. 10,000 years of facing things that wanted to kill us and choosing to live anyway. The room remained silent. Every alien was listening. Your species reached space through technology, Kevin continued. You built ships and weapons and shields. You evolved past the need to struggle. You have been safe for so long that you forgot what it means to truly fight for your life. He put the knife back in his belt. Humans have not forgotten. We still remember the ice ages that nearly killed us. The plagues that took half our people. The wars we fought against each other just to survive one more day. That memory is in our blood. It is in our bones. It is what makes us who we are. Ambassador Thrall stepped forward. He did something strange then. Something no one expected. He lowered his head in what the translator identified as deep respect. The Galactic Council hereby grants Earth full membership, he announced. Not because of your technology, not because of your resources, but because today we learned something important. What did you learn? Kevin asked. That humans are not primitive. You are primal. There is a difference. Primitive means you lack advancement. Primal means you have not lost what advancement often takes away. The other aliens began nodding and making sounds of agreement. You brought 57 items of survival equipment, Thrall continued. And you chose only a knife. We thought you were foolish. We thought you would die, but I did not die. No, you did not. And now we understand why. The ambassador looked around the room at his fellow aliens. Humans are the species that looks at a death world and sees a camping trip. The species that faces apex predators and sees prey. The species that survived everything the universe threw at them and just kept walking forward. Kevin smiled. It was a tired smile, but it was real. So, he said, what is next? The aliens laughed. The sound was strange coming from so many different species. But it was real laughter. The laughter of beings who had just learned to respect something they had underestimated. Commander Volkov stepped forward and put a hand on Kevin's shoulder. Next. Lieutenant, you go to the medical bay and let the doctors fix you properly. Then you sleep for about a week, and after that, Volkov smiled. It was a proud smile, a father's smile. After that, we start preparing for whatever comes next. Because now the galaxy knows what humans are, and they will be watching. Kevin nodded. He turned to leave but stopped at the door. He looked back at the room full of aliens. "Thank you for the test," he said. "It was a good warm-up." Then he walked out, limping but upright. A human who had faced the worst the galaxy could offer and won. Behind him, Dr. Kim stayed for a moment. She looked at Ambassador Thrall. "He really did think of it as camping," she said. "I thought he was crazy, but he meant it." "That," the ambassador replied, "is exactly what makes humans so terrifying and so wonderful." Dr. Kim nodded and followed Kevin out of the room. The trial was over. Earth had passed. Humanity had proved itself, and somewhere in the galaxy, other species were starting to realize that the newcomers from the little blue planet were going to change everything, because humans never stop. They never quit. They never accept defeat. They just keep walking forward until there is nowhere left to go, and then they walk a little further.